Hello, everyone. Please, can you just respond to make me know that you are present? Shola, Namdi, Obinna, please respond.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So we are going to start now.
All right.
Okay. So we're going to start now. The title of this talk today is example of an inline a block element is so if you see here, I'm highlighting it here. It's a paragraph element that has this is a boy as a text. So why do they call it a block element? Now I've run it here.
I can't hear anything any longer. Is it just me? Oh God, what's going on?
I think it's Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Good. So it's the rain. Okay, so let me go back to where I'm coming from. So I'm talking about block elements. I'm telling you that they're called block elements because they fill the width of the browser. I'm giving an example. This paragraph. You can see it in the page here, but when I highlight it in the dev environment, you see that it fills the whole page. So that's why it's called a block element. It has the whole width itself. Any other element that comes after it, for example, the A tag goes below it. No matter how small the width of the content is, it still fills the whole element. So I name it as I call it the landlord. Good. If you have any question, please can you stop and ask? Example of a block element are the P tag, the H tag, the UL, and the OL. If you don't know this, please you can stop me at any time and then ask questions. Next is the inline element. These inline elements are elements that does not have width or height. It just contains itself. It just contains the space that element contains. Now, any other element that comes after it, if it is not block, it goes to the same line. Example is a button, an input, label, select, or text area. So from the same example here, I have this A tag that links to goal.com. Now remember that this P tag is a block element. So this A tag, this is why we call it an inline element. Now, if I go to the page here and I hover over it, you see it only fills just the space that that the content fills, the goal fills. That's why it's called an inline element. So how do we make element inline? We can make an element inline, but by default, an A tag is an inline element. Good. Now we now have elements that are called inline block elements. So inline block elements, I call them, they are stubborn. They want to be like the block element, but they are still inline, although they now have attributes that the block elements have, except that they are still on a new or on same line. So the block element has a height, has a width, fills the whole line. Any other element that comes after the block element goes to the next line. But an inline block, yes, it has a height, it has a width, but it's still on the same line. Any other element that comes after it, if it is not a block element, it goes to the same line with an inline block element. So let me give you an example. So you see this go here. Now look, what if I change? Let's say I change the width to 400 pixels. What happens? I still hover on it because it's an inline element. It does not take that width. It's inline. It does not take that. If I give it the height of, let's say, 200 pixels, if I hover on it, it still takes that 200. It still takes its own height. It does not take. It does not respect the height of the width because it's an inline element. Now, what if I now change the display from an inline element, which is its default, to an inline block? What happens? Good. So I now say display. I say inline block. Good. Now you still have when I hover on it, that same element that doesn't have a height or width when it was inline, because I changed it to an inline block, it now has a height and a width. So if the width is like this, it looks as if it fills the page, but it's because I gave it a width of 400. If I give a width of, let's say, of 20, you see, it does not fill the page. But an inline element, no matter the width you give to it, it fills the page. Then finally, we have a none. So this element that has the none value do not show face. They are not displayed on the browser. So we use it to hide items in the browser. It will not even be on the document flow. So if I change this boy, if I say display should be none, what happens? Now you can't see it in the document. You can't even see it in this developer tool. Okay, you can see it in the developer tool, but you can't see it in the browser because we are giving it display none. So that's how elements are displayed in the browser. There are other ways elements are displayed. So if I come here to see other ways elements are displayed in the browser, you can see there's a block, content, flex, shoot, grid, inherit, initial, inline block. There are many, but for the purpose of this lesson, we go with those 4 popular display properties. Does anyone have any question here? Well, are people still in this chat?
Yeah, carry on. Well, with you 100%.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. So next, okay, so from my slide here, okay, good. So now we have we'll go to the box model. So what is the box model in CSS? Good. So elements have height and width. So elements that are not inline, they have height and width. So according to the box model, every element you see in the web page is a rectangular box. So it may have a height, a width, padding, border, and margin. Now going back to my to my code here, if I hover on this, let me remove hover on this P tag here. You see it has a width. It has a width, so it fills the browser. It has a height, which obviously is 18 pixels. If I hover on it, you see this call out here. You see it's 398 by 18. So it has the height, it has the width. But what is that yellow thing in what is that yellow thing in as in above it and below it? And is that yellow, does it count in how the browser calculates its height? So is it that 18 the height, which is 18 pixels, is it 18 pixels the content and those yellow things, or how is it calculated? Good. So this is where the box model comes into play. Padding, a border, and a margin. So how do we know which is a padding, which is a border, which is a margin? Good. So from this picture, the girl here, the lady here is the content. So is your P tag, is your boy here, she is the content. Now the space between her and that line is called the padding. Is called the border, and then the space between that element and every other element is called the margin. Now let me show you here in the code here. So let me here, and then I come to the head and put the CSS. So the style I and a border of 2 pixels, which will be solid, and which will take the color of red. Let's see how it's displayed in the browser. Good. So now this is how it's displayed in the browser. You see, if I hover on boy, what you can see that there are three colors. There's the light, the sky blue color, the green color, and then the yellow color. Now that sky blue color represents the content. Good, the content. Now that green color represents the padding. It's the space between the padding, between the content and that red color. That red color is the border, and the yellow color is the margin. So if you can see that, if I put another, let's say I put another content here, and then name this one name it a boy, a girl, and say it's a girl. What happens? Now you see that there is a space. So the space between the girl's red border and the boy's red border is called the margin. If I hover on the girl's on the girl, you see that there's a space between the red border and the top red border. So I can give you this illustration. Now, let's say you're a landlord, you have a house, right? That house, you have a land. Obviously, you have a land. That land, you build a fence in that land. And inside that fence, you build your house. So obviously, you will not build your house and then join with your fence. No, you build your house, there will be a space, and then you build your fence. Good. So that house that you build is the content. Now, the space, the walkway, the space between your house and your fence is the padding. Now, the fence is the border. Now, the space between the fence and the next landlord's fence is the margin. I hope you understand. Does anyone have a question to ask me? Hello?
Yeah, we understand, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, let me go on. So, margin. So if you see this tweet, this lady really explained in her own way what the padding, border, and margin is. So she says, the border is my personal bubble. So that border, the line, the red line. Now, padding is how much space I need inside my bubble, how much space I need from inside, from that red line, from the border, and then margin is how much I need everyone to back the fuck, sorry for the language, up of me. So your margin is your space between you and every other personnel. Your padding is the space between you and your border. So there's the box model properties, there's the content which has the height and the width, there's the padding, there's the border, and then there is the margin. So going forward, so how is element calculated? So how is the element calculated? So from this code here, you see a div that has a border of 6 pixels solid. I don't know which color is this. Code, and then put it in my code editor. So I say, let me put, so P, I say border is 6px solid. Let me just use red. Height is 100 pixels. It's 100 pixels. Margin is 20, padding 20, width 400. So margin 20, padding 20, and then the width is 400 pixels. Good. So let me show you the content. So this is how, okay, so this is how it's displayed in the this is how it is displayed in the page. Now, if you look at where my mouse is hovering here, you see, you see the content. So you see here, I said the width is 400, the height is 100 pixels. So this is what it is here, 400 times 100. Now I said the padding is 20 pixels. Now padding, that means the space between me and the border. So from where you see that the padding here, this green one, is 20 pixels all through. So the top is 20, the right, left 20, bottom is 20, and right is 20. Same thing with the border. So the border is that red line. It's 6 pixels all through. And then the margin, the space between the two red boxes is 20 pixels. So now how is the height of this element calculated? Remember we said the height should be 400 pixels. But when I hover on it, why is it giving me 452 pixels? If you look at the browser here, where there's a tag here, you see that it's giving me 452 pixels times 152 pixels. Meanwhile, in my code, I said the width should be 400 pixels and the height should be 100 pixels. Why the confusion? I just want 400 times 100. Why is the browser giving me the contents to the 450, the size of the box to be 452 times 152 pixels? So I think so. Let me go to my slide. Sorry. So, so you said note when you set the width and height properties of an element with CSS, you just set the width and the height of the content area. So to calculate the full size of an element, you must also add the the padding, the borders, and the margin to get the full height of an element. Even though you set the width, you need to also, if you set the width, if you had the border and the padding and the margin, it will add those together and give you a much higher value. So let's see, let's just see if I can calculate it and see why our element is giving us a width of 452 pixels instead of the 400 pixels we asked for. So if you see, I said padding should be 20 pixels. So look at my look at where my mouse is. So I set the content, the width to be 400 pixels, and then I set the padding to be 20 pixels. So how the browser calculates is okay. The content is 400 pixels plus 20 pixels. So 20 pixels plus 400 pixels, that is 420 plus 6, that is 426. Now, same thing again, plus 20 plus 6 here, 426 plus 26, that is 452. So an element is calculated by adding, an element height is calculated by adding the border, the padding, and the width as how an element width is calculated. The height also same thing. So sorry, let me get back to slide. Good. So total width of an element is calculated by the margin right, which is this. Sorry, the margin right, which is this. The border right, which is this. The padding right, which is this 20 here. The width, which is 400. The padding left here. The border left and the margin left. Calculated. That will give you the total width of an element. But what if I have a design and then the designer said, okay, okay, I think I have a design here that I'm coding. So let me give you that and okay, good. So there's a design here. There's a design here that I will have to code. Now, if I element here, I will see that the submit is 170. The submit width is 173 by 49. Now, and I know that there will be a space, there will be a space between this submit button and the element above. But I don't know, I don't want the browser to give me its own, to calculate its own width and height. I want it to give me, I want the element to give me just, the browser to give me, to calculate just a width of 173 times 49. I don't want any other additional width or height to the content. So what do I do? We now come, that's when we have what we call box sizing. So box sizing sets how the height and the width of an element is calculated. So history, during the olden days of CSS, elements are calculated, the width and height are calculated how we just said it. So the width and the content plus the border plus the padding gives you the width of an element. Now, people will have to start doing complex math to know how to set their elements. So that it's called a content box. That box sizing is called a content box. It's additive. So to get the full element of the width of an element, you have to add the content, you have to add the border, the margin, and everything. But then there was now a hack that came in, that instead of adding those, instead of the browser adding those border and padding to the width of my content, I want the browser to calculate it and do it automatically, whereby my content will still be there. It should do if magic wants to do, but the width of that element will still be the width I specify. So if I specify 400 pixels, even if I specify margin and padding, yes, the margin and padding should be both specified, but then the browser should be the one to calculate how my content will be. So my content is calculated based on this automatically calculated based on how the margin and the padding be. So if the margin is 10 pixels, the padding is 10 pixels, and I want my the width of my element to be, let's say, 400. So what it does is it removes the padding and the margin from that 400. Now the remaining width will be what is ascribed to the element. So I don't really need to know how it does the calculation. All I need to know is, no matter what calculation I give you, let's make sure the width and the height of my element be what I specify. So that box sizing is called a border box. So the border box value alters the box model so that any border or padding property values are included within the height and width of an element. So let me go back to my code here. So show you this again. So remember when I hover on this girl, look at the browser here. Look at the browser here. If I hover or replace, look at the browser here. What happens? Exactly the way I specify. It's just to add a box sizing. So box sizing, I say it should be a border box. Now, when let me put this in my CSS here. So I come here, I say box sizing, it should be a border box. So when I come here, when I hover, you see now my element is what I specified. It is 400 by 100. But you can see the content here now. If I hover here, can you follow my mouse and then hover here? If I hover here, my content, the size of my content reduces. So that means the calculation of padding and the border has been removed from that content, and then the remaining space has been used to display the content. So this is what we want. This is what most of everybody wants, because it's easy now. You can just specify your width and height, specify your padding, and specify your margin and your border, and then the browser automatically does the calculation for you. So, any question?
Hello, Justice.
Yeah.
Please, I have a question.
Please do.
Okay, so what you are saying basically now is that the job of this box sizing,
Yes,
is to help the browser, helps the browser do the calculation automatically. So instead of usually, normally, let's assume you set a width of 100 pixel and a height of, let's say, 50 pixel, and you add your margin and your padding. Now, adding your margin and your padding, the height increases from that 100 pixel to whatever margin you add. So it becomes the height becomes the 100 pixel plus the margin.
Yes, plus the padding. Yes.
No, but if you use box sizing,
plus the padding and border, margin is not included.
Okay, plus the padding and the border. Okay, so but if you now use box sizing, what the browser does is it looks within your own height specification or width specification and still maintain that width and height, but start doing all those by reducing your initial width and height to make sure that you don't exceed that initial width and height that you specified. Am I right?
Exactly, yes, exactly.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that's
yes,
what.
You're right, yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So, the box sizing has a default value, which is the content box. So that's the default. So if you don't set it, that's default. Is the content box. But then when you put put the box size in as border box, it now has that ability to now do the calculation itself, and what you specify is what you get. So if you check most codes, most reset code, the first thing they do is they make everything to be box sizing border box, so that they don't have to worry about the height, specify about the height and the width of the content. Just give the height and width, give the content, and then the browser automatically does the calculation for you.
Yeah, sorry, Justice. How do we do that? Is it by setting the body to border box?
Okay,
box
so see this. Okay, initially this is how you do it. I think I read it somewhere. So first of all we go with HTML. You go HTML like this, and then you say box sizing, border box, and then you come here and then you say all, or I think after and before, or after, before, yeah, I'll get back to you, and then I'll post it so that and but you now say box sizing should inherit in so we do this so that we can be able to when we want to change the box sizing, we can change it at any time, but we can choose not to inherit what we want the box sizing to be. So this is how we set a box sizing. But I'm not really sure if this is really correct, but I will go and do some research, and then I'll get back to you and give it to the guys to send to you guys. Yeah, hello?
All right, thank you.
Okay, good. So next.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So, like in real life situations now, say you're given
Yeah.
a particular size for a button, and
Yes.
say a designer gives a design, and the size of that button is without the borders and without the margin. How do you use border box for substitutions? Because it seems like border box, you must have the margin and the padding all inclusive into the sizing. So how does
No. Okay.
yeah, how does border box deal with that? How do we use border box?
Not really. So not really. The thing is, if you check most codes, every reset code, they have that box size and border box, because that's if there's no margin and border, it does not matter. It's still that same width and height it gives you. But if there's margin and border box helps you calculate the content. If you specify that the margin should be 20 pixels, the padding should be 20 pixels. Yes, when calculating, obviously the margin and the padding will be 20 pixels. So it now calculates the width of the content after removing the margin and the padding. So if there's no margin and padding, automatically the content is what you give to it. Hello, first is understood?
Yes, sure. Thanks.
Yeah. So we'll go next to, so if you can see here, this is a representation of content box versus border box. And the problem, you can see that the codes are the same codes, the same thing, just the border box and the content box that changes. So you see the content box, the width is 100 pixels, the height is 400 pixels, and the padding is 10 pixels. Same thing with the one on the right, the border box on. But then what happens is the content in the content box is it carries the width that is specified, carries the width of 100, the height of 100, yeah. But the final width of that element is 120 pixels because it adds the padding to it. That's content box. So content box it gives precedence to the content. Why the border box? You see the content becomes 80 pixels, but the height and the width of the overall element is still 100 by 100. So it gives precedence to the border. The content, the border and the padding and everything, it calculates that, but it takes that, but it calculates the content. So this is what we want. The right one is the right. This is what we want because you will not be too sure of what the browser will give you to if you go with content box. That's why most codes, the first thing they do in the code, the first thing you do in the code is you put that box size in border box. I'm also sure that there have been instances that we want to start coding HTML. When we code, let's say the page should be 100% should fill the page. You said there will be like a space at the top of the element. That space is because we did not specify a border box. So learn to just I'll just say every time before you start the person is used specify that the HTML should take the box sizing of border box. Any question? No question. Into positioning of an element. So positioning allows you to take elements out of the normal document flow, and then you can push it and move it everywhere you want. You can specify where you want it to go. And positioning have some they are called at the top, the right, the bottom, and the left. This is used to move the element where you want it to move to. So, example, you see where boxes are displayed or where elements. Okay, example, let's say you someone who is if you are scribbling a note, if you are writing it, if you have a jotter and you are writing your jotter. Okay, yes, you write from the top to bottom, but the way at time that you want to put a note, okay, in a place that notes, a note, something like that, but you have to put the content there. Now you will not say, because I'm writing from top to down, I will not put the note, I will not continue writing the note down. You have to move that note to a place you want it to move to. Good. Now in CSS, you use positioning to move elements anywhere you want it to move to, anywhere you want it to move to. So it's like manually moving elements with positioning. Good. So types of positioning. First of all, we have the static positioning. This is the normal position you know that if you're coding, it goes from top to bottom. As you're putting elements, it's rendering like that. It goes from top to bottom, top to bottom. That's what we call static positioning. Your default positioning, what you're using default in your CSS is a static positioning. So there's nothing special here to see here. Any question? No question. Yes. So now we have what's called relative positioning. So before I explain this. Oh, no, okay. So relative positioning moves elements around relative to where they would normally appear in the static flow of the page. So I will try to see if I can code something like this while you guys watch and see good. So there are 3 boxes. So let's say I have this. I have 3 boxes. So I have 3 boxes. Box 1, box 2, and box 3.
Is this
So let me
VS
give them
Code?
class.
The code editor, is it VS Code?
Yeah, this is VS Code. Why you ask?
Oh, okay. Because the
Yes,
is
yes.
3. I haven't noticed it before.
Okay, it's an Emmet. It's an
Emmet.
Emmet. So it's an Emmet command. Yes. Yes. Okay, so I put the class name. I say class name. Class. I say the box, and then box. Let me say box 1 here, box 2 here, and box 3 here. Good. So I come to the style here, and then in the style I say box. So the box should have a height of 50 pixels and a width of 50 pixels, and let's have a margin right each of, let's say, 20 pixels, and then let's have a border so that we can see what we're doing. Of border should be 2 pixels. It should be solid, and it should be black. Let's see if it's there. Let's see if it's rendered. Okay, good. So it's rendered like this. So can anyone tell me why it is rendered why it's horizontal?
Horizontal or vertical?
Sorry for my. Is why it's vertical. Sorry.
Because they're diff. Is that not the default positioning of div? A div always position things on each other.
Yeah, because they are block elements.
Block elements.
Good. That one, yes, because they are block elements. That's why. So you see that if I hover on it, yeah, if I hover on it, you see that you see it fills the whole page. That's why it's called a block element. It fills the whole page. Yes, it's called a block element. It fills the whole page. So, okay. So what I want to okay, I want it that it should spray, but it should still have its height and its width. What will I do?
Turn it to an inline.
No, inline does not have height and width. So let me see if I see display. I say inline block. Inline block. So I'm doing it for this one. Okay, good. So if I put display inline, it will not have the height and width. Let me see what happens if I put display inline. Let's use this to learn. So if I say here, display inline, what happens? You can see this yellow squiggly line under the height and the width. That shows you that a display inline does not respect height and width. If I come here to this, what happens? You see that it goes back, it reduces, even though I set the height and width to be 50 pixels. But because it's an inline block, inline is very shy. It doesn't want to occupy space. It just wants itself. It just likes itself. So that's why you see it reduces. But inline block wants to be like a landlord, but it cannot be. So if I put it to an inline block, what happens here? You see, it gets the height and the width, but then it's still inline. So it still does not block in that it does not fill the page. Good. So now let me color box 2. Let me color box 2 red because according to my stuff, okay, let me call it blue. According to my stuff, I want to see if you can move it, how it is being moved here. So I color, so I say box 2, sorry. So I say box 2 have a background color of blue. Good. Good. Now, so relative positioning moves elements around relative to where they would normally appear in the static flow of the page. So what this thing means is this is where it's supposed to appear. You understand? But if I give it a relative, I can control it with top, bottom, left, and right. But if I'm controlling it, I'm controlling it relative to where it's supposed to be. So there's a confusion of that top, bottom, left, and right. Is it that if I give it a top of 20 pixels, it will move top, or if I give it a left of 20 pixels, it will move left, or how does this work? What it means is, if I give it top of 20 pixels, it's moving 20 pixels away from the top that it's supposed to be. It's moving 20 pixels away from the top. So let me try here and see what happens. Okay, so let me see. I say I give it a position relative, right? Then and at the top should be 20 pixels. Okay. This happened to okay. Okay, we can do it to box. That's why it's happening like that. Okay, let me do it to box 2. Can you guys see this, or should I go back to the code editor?
You can see. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, so if I say position relative, and then I say top should be 20 pixels. You see that it moves. You see, it moves to the bottom, but and then it moves down. But it's supposed to move. Why give it top now? Why? No, it moves 20 pixels away from the top. So the top is here. It moves 20 pixels away. So when I'm moving away, that means I'm moving in the opposite direction. So if I put it, okay, bottom, what happens? It moves, so where the bottom is supposed to be here, so it moves 20 pixels away from the bottom. If I say right, it moves, well, it moves to the left. So it moves 20 pixels away from the left of where it's supposed to be. That's what's called relative positioning. So with this, we can do and undo. We can make it relative, and then we can move away from, we can move the box, we can do our multiple designs and that. I hope you guys understand this relative positioning.
Yes, but the question is,
Sure.
when they say something is relative, it means you're comparing it with something. So what are you comparing this thing with?
So it says the way it's supposed to be in the normal document flow. So I wish I have, oh God, let me see if I can use, let me see if I have Edge here. I'm using Edge for this presentation. Okay, so it's supposed to, so if I look here, it's supposed to be here, you understand? But if I put a relative, it's moving 20% relative to where it is supposed to be. So it's relative to itself, where it's supposed to be. That's why it is relative.
Oh, okay.
The way it's supposed to be.
I would say it was relative to some parents.
No, we'll get don't be faster than your shadow. We'll get there.
But it's the same relative, isn't it?
Yes. So when you set, okay, you can, when you set itself to be relative, you can now move it, you can now move himself. So it's relative to where he himself is supposed to be. If there was no relative. So that is it. Any questions, please?
So what you're saying basically is that if you set something, can you hear me?
I can hear you, please. Continue.
Yeah, so if you set a position as relative, the only way you can manipulate that 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 block of what's it called code is by using either top, left. You can't use margin left, margin top. Either you use top, bottom, left, or right.
So let's try your question. So we learn by doing. So let's say I put this relative here. I remove I move the right here. And what happens if I put a margin left? So I say a margin left. What happens if margin left 20 pixels? It is still there. You understand? It just gives a space between itself and the next listing. You understand? It just gives a space between the margin left and left. So with left, you are removing it. You are removing it from the document with a relative. You are removing it from the document flow. You are removing from the document flow. You are now positioning it to where it's supposed to, where you want it to position. Well, margin left, you're just adding a space. You're not moving it. So what's the difference between margin left 20 pixels here and then this right 20 pixels? Okay, let me see. I put left 20 pixels. What is the difference between each of them? So this is the left 20 pixels here. This is the margin left 20 pixels. What's the difference?
Okay, so
Yeah.
So let me help.
Margin adds another 20 pixels to it.
Yes, good.
Why
and
left?
then the left. So left removes this from the flow. Left removes it from the flow, and then does the move it to where you want to move it relative to where it was supposed to be if it does not have a positioning. Understood?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. So let's go. So that is relative positioning. So if you can see here, you can see the illustration here. The same thing we did here. So there are these. Let me use the pointer. So there's the element 1. So this is our box 2. Oh, sorry. So this is our box 2. You see, this shaded box 2 is where it was supposed to be if there's no relative positioning, and this is our box 3. Now, if there's not a relative positioning, and then here I think here they use is moving away from the top. So I think here they use and it's moving away from the left. So I think here they use top 20 pixels and then left 10 pixels. So it is relative to where it's supposed to be. So you move 20 pixels away from here and 10 pixels away from here. So that's what's called relative positioning. So it's move elements relative to where they would normally appear in the static flow of the page. Good. Absolute. But this is what people. This has made people to code rubbish because they don't really understand what happens. Now, absolute position. Then you are not doing it relative to itself. You are doing it relative to the browser window. Or okay, let me leave it there. I'll go to the next one. So you are doing it relative to the browser window. So let me take an example. So now you see, I make it. So we are still at relative here, and let me left 20 pixels here. So but what if I change this thing to relate to here to absolute? What happens? So I change it to absolute. If you can see, it moves to this weird place. Understand? Now what it does is that it's now moving relative to this browser window. So you see, it moves 20 pixels away from the left of this browser. Okay, let me show you how if I say okay, the left should be 0. You see where it goes to hug itself. If I say the top should be 0, so see where it goes to hug itself. So that's to show that it moves relative to this browser window. So it moves relative to this browser window. So now the browser window is now what it's looking at to move around. okay, let's say if I say I put bottom 0, see, oh, it has fly. What did it fly to? Good, okay, yeah. So you see where it moved to? It moved to the edge of the browser window. So with absolute, we are moving it relative to the browser window. And you can see that the box 1 and box 3 have closed, showing that this box 2 has been removed from that flow. It has been yanked away from that flow, and then it's now been placed against the browser window. So I can use, so if, how I can, if I want to place it here, this place here, I will say the right should be 0. So the right should be 0 and the bottom, so it moves here. Same thing here. So with absolute, you are moving it against the browser window. Can anyone, do you have any questions?
In fact, you are correct. We've been coding rubbish, me particularly, because my understanding of this absolute is that you can move absolute in relation to the parent child.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, wait. Don't jump past that. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. Don't worry. Yes. So, why would we need an absolute? Why would we need an absolute position? Okay. Example now. Let's do this, and I want to create a model. Are you listening? I want to create not a model overlay. You know what the model overlay is, right? That when a model comes up, you know, the background becomes like a little bit transparent. So how do I do that? So I go here. Let me use this box 2 div and save. So I can take this box 2 div here. Box 2 here, its background is blue. I can now say, okay, I want you to be absolute. So position absolute, because I want you to fill the I want you to fill the browser window. What's happening? Absolute. Then I would ask, okay, your top should be 0. What is this? Your right should be 0 also. So that means stay at the top, stay at the right. Gang, 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 gang. I'm sorry for my word, but I have to say it so you understand. Stay at the bottom. Your bottom should be 0, and then your left should be 0 also. Okay, so I need to also increase the what's happening. Top 0, right 0, position absolute.
The size of the box, the width and height.
Yeah, I think so. So the width 100 VH. So VW means viewport height. So that means no matter how, so it's used for responsive coding. No matter which device, use the viewport of it. So and then viewport sorry, 100 VH. Good. So you see, yes. Let me use RGBA 0.4 for transparency. So you see it. This is a use case of what we should use absolute. What do you say?
Oh, not you. Sorry.
So this is a use case of what we can use absolute for. So what if we don't use absolute? What happens? This is what happens. I remove absolute and see what happened. But when I put an absolute, it fills everything. It fills everything. I'm coming. There's also let me see, margin. Okay, sorry. So let me get back to where I am. So this is a use case of how to use an absolute position. When you want to code something to be positioned against the browser window. Good. So I hope you've understood absolute positioning. If you have any question, please ask. So I guess you guys understood it. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Now,
yes. So without, okay. So without the without specifying relative and absolute, the relative is relative to itself, and the absolute
to
is
itself,
relative to
yes,
the browser,
yes, yes.
like to the browser view height.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So now we'll go into the next one. We'll go into relatively absolute positioning. That is where, I don't know if this is Jesse or someone, this is what you guys are talking about. So now, how do we position something against its parent? How do you position something against its parent so that we can move it relative to where the parent is? So it's not every time you want to move something relative to the browser window. What you want to move something relative to its parent, to where it is? Can I think of a scenario? Okay, I will have to show you guys this. I don't know if, okay, I don't know if you see here. No, I've closed it. I've closed it, so I can't show you that. So yeah, let's say we want to code
Like a box in a box.
put a box. Okay, let's say a checkbox. Want to code a box in a box. A box in a box. Good. A box in a box. Okay. Good. A box in a box. I have a div. Okay, a box in a box. No, that will not. I'm thinking. Okay. Let me give a good example of why I would use absolute positioning. This is a good example. I also introduced something for you, but it's something I learned recently. Now, have you tried styling a checkbox? So you see, a checkbox is by default it's not really stylable. You cannot put your own design and dress with a checkbox. So what people do is they hide the checkbox. They hide the checkbox and then they build their own checkbox component. I don't know if I have the code. I don't know if I can see. So let us see if we can do it. If we cannot do it, I will send the code over. And so let's see. So I have a div. Let's say div.checkbox. So I have a div to checkbox, and then I have an input of a checkbox. So the name is, let's say, test. The ID is test. Then I have a label for test. Good. A label for test. So let I put a value here. So what happens? So I permission to remove these boxes. So this is what. So we have. Okay, it's not checkbox. Radio button, I think. Checkbox, radio button. Let's see. Let's try. We're learning. So you can see this is ugly. This is ugly. Is there a way we can do that? We can make it that we can have our own style, a checkbox. We can do away with the checkbox and have a new checkbox. Trying to use our positioning to try to build our own checkbox. So let us try. So the first thing we did is we try to hide the input. So so remember that we can use label to check input. So if I click on label, so that one good thing with label is label does the same thing, does the same thing as checking the box. So that's why you are asked to always put labels in your when you're coding the checkbox. So now because we can check and uncheck box with label, we can be able to hide that input. So what we'll do is now we'll now say, okay, this input. So let me put, okay, let me see here in the star. I say input. I say display. I want it to be none. So it's no longer there. Now, what next? So I want to code like a checkbox that I want the checkbox to be at the front of let's say of value. And how do I do that? Good. So, and also I'm also introducing this to you. There's what we call a pseudo element. Now, pseudo element extends a normal element. So you might not see them here, but you can use CSS to add more elements to an element. So let me show you that. So now I say label. Then I'm saying after. So a pseudo after. So we use after and before are pseudo elements. So I'm adding another element using CSS to that label. So I say after. Now when you put a pseudo element, you need to add a content. So let me show you what a content does. Let's see. Let me put anything here, and let's see if it shows here. Good. You see it shows here, right? Although it's not in your HTML. I didn't CSS to add that. Good. So now, if you want to do something that you don't want them to be like a value, you can just remove the content here. Now, you must specify a display property. So a display, we use a display of, normally people use display of table. I don't really know, but that's what we use. And I know that we can use block and the rest, but let's use table for now. Good. We can now set a height of 20 pixels, a width of 20 pixels. And then let's put a border so that you can see a border of 1 pixel solid input red. Let's see what happens in the page. But you see that we have a checkbox there. We have not a checkbox, we have a box there. Can imitate to be a checkbox. So now, how do we place this box to be at the front of value? Good. So we can tell it. So because this label, because this after is like a child of label. Let us see how it is rendered in the dev environment. So we see the label, we see the after. So we see the after is inside the label. So that means we can say, okay, we can make the after to be absolutely positioned to the label. How do we do that? How do we position an element relative to its parent? What we should do is we'll first make the parent to be relative. So we'll make the parent to be relative. So we'll make the label, which is the parent. We'll say, okay, label, Oga, see you, there's a child that you are bearing. We want you to be relative so that we can position the child against you. So I'll say label position should be this position good should be relative. Maybe we can now even let's good relative. Then we can now say, okay, bros, after your label is now relative. Now we can now use you. We can now say position here should be absolute. Should be absolute. What happens? Nothing happens because we have not used the magic soldiers to move it. So it's absolute, but it's still there because we have not used our soldiers. Our soldiers are the top, bottom, and the rest. So if I say top should be 0, so what happens? It's position 0 to the it's position relatively to the value. What if I say right? If I say right 0, what happens? Because I've not put that top, so it's still as where it is. Okay, let me see, I put the top to be 0. So you see it is going relatively to where that relatively to where the value is. And remember, label is an inline element. So what if we say, okay, label, let us see if this is true. Let us see if this thing is really positioned against you. Let's change it to be a block element and see where our after box will fly to. So let's say we put position, we put display. Let's say we put it to block. What happens? You see where it flew to? Can anyone tell me why it flew to that side? What happened? Am I talking to myself?
No, we are hearing you.
So can anyone tell me why this box flew to the end of this place here?
Because now it's relative because now it is positioning in relative to that block element.
Okay, so is the block element why? Okay, so
The label to block element.
Good. So okay, I change label to block element. What's big deal? So what happens if I change an element to block element?
It's going to take the whole width now.
Bravo. That's what I want to hear. So it's going to take the whole width, and so because this red stuff is position relative to it, it's going to the right 0 and top 0 of that value. So we don't want it to be. So I'm just giving you to. I just want to refresh your memory with this. So let's go back and remove it from block. Good. So obviously the checkbox are at the front of the values. So let me put the okay here I say the
Sorry, the display of is it the label? Yeah, the display of the label. Is it inline block, right?
the display label is like
Or it's just inline?
yes, label is inline, but you can change it. That's the good thing we say. You can change it to an inline block, so that I can give it a height and a width. So why the thing is, why do people change it to an inline block? Yes, with an inline block, we change it we want it to have a height and a width. That's why we change it to an inline block. So, but currently label now is inline. So now, label after, I say top should be 0, so that it will be the same line with the so to be the same line. So to be the same line with the value, and then we can just leave it like that, and then we can now move the value. Let's see if we can move the value relative. Okay, since the value is already relative, let's move it like 20 pixels away from where it's supposed to be and see if it works. Or that time I use margin left, but let's use what I'm learning today. And I say So you're moving 20 pixels away from the left. So I'll say left, the left, let's say 20 pixels. What happens? We're all learning. Okay. Can anyone tell me why it happened like that?
Yeah, because the size of the value, uh, basically the label is inside. So the checkbox is inside the value, so it's gonna move with the value.
Yes,
No, it's
good.
moving
So no
against.
matter,
Okay.
hello? Yeah, continue please say.
Okay. I said is that it's moved against its original value, like the left to 20 pixel.
Yes. So what happened here is this. I set it relative. I moved it 20 pixels away from where it's supposed to be. But then because that our new checkbox, because uh, it is absolutely positioned. So wherever value goes, I go because I'm absolutely positioned to you. So the only thing to do here is just to use the margin left. So now, how do we so now we need to have to create another content, another box or another something that when we check on this box, we have a background that will fit into this box so that we can use our CSS to do what we want to do. But now we need to create another box. So we have already used after. There's also an element called before. This is an element called before. So what I want to do is, so before and after we have the same thing. We have the same height, the same width, maybe the same border. It's also position absolute. It's also top zero, understand? But it will have different height and different width. So not to repeat ourselves, because in code, it's good not to repeat ourselves. In code, let's add here, let's say a label before. Remember before is also a pseudo code where we use CSS to add elements. So I'm doing it like this so that I'm creating two things with one code. But then I want to now come here and just say label after. So I will just, this one will only take the style for label after. And this will also take the style for label before. So what I'm doing like this is, I'm taking so what I'm doing here is I don't want to repeat myself with the code. So this label after label before has content, the same thing, has table display. Everything here is they have the same properties. So there's no need of writing it again. What I do is I put it in one place and then write what I want. Then it's only the thing that I want that is different that I will now put it under its own declaration. So let's see what happens there. Good. See what happens there. It still is there. It takes it still is there, but then it has a 10 pixels. It was smaller because I gave it a height of 10 pixels, a width of 10 pixels. So let me give it a background color of red. So what we want to do is what we do is okay. Once if that this red color should be at the middle, so it will look as if it's a checked. So we look as if it's a checked checkbox, a checkbox. Then the trick is this: we turn the color to be white. So when the color is white, so you will not okay. Let me say I put this color here. Let's say I put it here white. That is the trick people use. And then the border the border. Sorry. Please, if you are lost, please call me back. The border is none. So what happens is it should not be there. It looks as if it's not there. So the trick is, since we don't have the checkbox, and we can use the label to check. We can use the label to check a checkbox. I want to create our own custom checkbox. So we have a box. We have another box will be inside that will have a background color of either of red when it is checked. But when it's not checked, you have a background color of, sorry, when it's not checked, it's have a background color of white to show that it's not checked. But when it's checked, it will have a background color of red to indicate that it is checked. Now that is how we do a custom checkbox. So let me make it get red so that we can try to center it and see what happens. So how do I center this? Let me see. No, this is trial and error, and let me see something. So if I say top 50%, what happens? Again, I'm doing for so if I say, let me see. I can just use so for the after value, no, the before, which is the one that's inside. I can use before. I can use here top. This I use 2 pixels. Is it centered? Good. This is centered. 4 pixels is centered. Then I use right. Let me see 4 pixels again. Nope. Sorry, not right. Left. No. Right. So what is happening here? So it's moving against the value. It's moving against the value instead of, let me see something. So
it's not relative to the parent what's it called element.
Yes, it is the parent element. Yes. Okay, because yeah, that's why. So I can do something like this. So it should move relative to this is like a hack. I can do something like this, but
So
I'm still trying to
instead of right, you could just do left 4.
It will not work.
No, like
Left
the
0,
lower value.
left 4 pixels. Oops, it's not.
Oh, well, that's weird.
That's good. So I think it's still going relative to the value. So it has been shifted 35 pixels minus 35 pixels away from the value to the left, but we have gotten what we desire. So next is to try to simulate when it's checked and when it's not checked. So first of all, what we should do is, since we have gotten where it's, let me copy this. Yeah, and put it here. So I'll color red. This is bigger before. Okay, so but instead let us make it white. Let's make it white, and let us see if we can if we can simulate when it is checked. So there's a checked, is this pseudo, I don't, it's not the element, there's a checked flag on CSS. So I can say, let me see, when input, I can say, okay, let's input, when input is checked, let's try something. Let me say label, let me get it checked. Label, I'm trying to see something. The label color should be red. Let's see if it works. I'm trying to see it doesn't work. So when input is checked, so the sibling is a label should be red. Okay, I see what's happening. So so this selector is called a sibling selector. So it's called a sibling selector. A sibling selector selects its just like it's called its sibling, someone that like is the nearest person close to it. So if you see sorry, let me I can't give you that, I can't guarantee that I can't guarantee that information. So we check. Okay, so okay. And so a CSS selector can contain, okay, more than one thing. A child selector, adjacent to this adjacent sibling selector. A general sibling selector, it says, general sibling selector selects all elements as siblings of a specified element. So siblings are like brothers, sisters. So if they are in the same, if they are the same children to a parent, they are siblings. So what I'm saying in my CSS is, I'm saying, okay, if input is checked, select your sibling that is label, make the color red. But we can still extend it and say, okay, select the sibling, which is label, the after, is after, okay, the before, because before we are trying to, the before, select before, and then make the background color to be red. Let's see if it works. Is that how before? Sorry, my bad. So I see, I click, it clicks. I unclick, it clicks. I click, it clicks. I unclick, it clicks.
Nice.
So that is how to do a custom check box. I don't know, any question, any request? And do you guys understand it?
Yes, can you go back to the code again, please?
Okay.
The macro.
So what I did, let me explain myself again. Let me explain my code again. So for people who might not really understand. So what I did was, first of all, in the markup, I have a class of checkbox. In that checkbox, I have an input and a label. Now the good thing is, why label is for accessibility. So you're advised to always put a label. Now with label, you can use label to check a checkbox or to enter the checkbox. So because the input and the label are in the same checkbox, they are siblings. So what did I do? And because we can use the label to check and uncheck an input, so we don't really need that input. So all we did was we hit the input. Good. Now we now work on the label. So when I say the label, we give it a position to be related because we wanted to create our own checkbox. So we wanted two boxes. one box will be the outer box, then the other box will be the inner box that will serve as the indicator of if checked or not. So what we want to do is, when it is checked, the inner box should have a background color. When it's not checked, the inner box should not have any background color. But in the markup, there is no, it's only the label and the input, and we're putting the input. So how do we get that box that we're looking for? Good. Let us have what we call pseudo element. So pseudo, like fake element, shadow element, pseudo element. Now, with pseudo element, we have the after and before. So after and before gives you that power to add an element after the element or before the element. So what we leverage that? So we use the after element. Now, with pseudo element, you must give it a content. Even if there's no content, if the content is empty, let the content be empty. We must give it a display. Table is most widely used. You can use a block, but table is most widely used. And then we give it a border just for presentation sake. We give it a position absolute because we want it to be positioned against that label so that it will be in the same, like the same line and the rest. And then we give it a top 0 so that it will be at the same line with the label. Now, the after will give it a height, obviously. We give it the height 20 pixels. Now, for the before would serve as like the indicator, like the check mark. We give it a height of 10 pixels so that it will be smaller than the after. We give it a border, and then give it a top of 4 pixels. Now, we give it a left of -5 pixels. Why? Because we want it to be at the center of that that after box. So the trick here is now is this. We say when input is checked, select the sibling. Select the sibling. The sibling that is the brother, the sister, with the label, but select the sibling of label of before and give it a background color of red. So this is the trick. This is where it comes from. So if you click on, the because this is also a label, because there are also a label that on top they are embedded in the label. There are also a label. So if you click on this, what it does is it checks. Since you can use label to uncheck and check a box, it checks. Okay, if you check, yes, if you check, it gives that smaller the inner this background color. So that's to show you that okay, that it's checked. So the assignment I'm going to give you guys today is I want you to use it. I want you to create a radio button. So use this element and just create a radio button, create a checkbox, just create a radio button and a checkbox button. That's the assignment for today. So I hope you have understood it. If you don't understand it, please, can anyone ask a question?
Sorry, the display table, what's the feeling like?
Yeah?
Like the display table, I'm still trying to get it in my head now. What's it like?
Okay. So let's
because I'm seeing for the first time.
Why do we use display table in is usually in pseudo element CSS? Okay. Using display table with before pseudo element. So the use of table rather than block is only necessary if using before to contain the top margins of child element. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so the comment and by extension the code that you quoted is from the micro clear fix hack as proposed by Nicholas Gallagher. Nicholas wrote an article introducing the technique, which for some reason isn't linked to, in which he explained why display table is used as follows. This micro clear fix generates a pseudo element and sets their display to table. This creates an anonymous table cell and a new block formatting context. That means the before pseudo element provides top margin collapse. The after pseudo element is used to clear the float as a result. There's no need to hide any generated content, and the total amount of code needed is reduced. So I seriously do not understand it. I'm sorry to say, but I know that I'm using table and it's working. So maybe you can do a research and then get why the table is used, and then maybe get back to us. We're all learning.
So the fact is it's working, so we'll continue to use it like that. At least
You're afraid of research, right? Okay,
No
so
time.
let's continue. So your assignment, just create a checkbox and a radio button. That's your assignment. Okay, so now we have learned how to use relatively. So when I mean relatively absolute positioning, it's absolute positioning, but the parents we have the relative element. So next we go into fixed positioning. So with absolute positioning, right? It is positioned, and when you scroll, it scrolls with the browser. But with fixed positioning, it is positioned the same way as actually. But when you scroll, it is sorry. With absolute positioning, when you scroll, it scrolls with the browser. With fixed positioning, it is there, no matter how you scroll up and down, it is still there. So let us see if we can try to replicate it here. So let me use Lorem ipsum. Let me say a P. Sorry, I think I will need these boxes. Yeah, and then I go P because I want Lorem, but I want Lorem, let's say Lorem 50. This is too small. I want 500, so I use Lorem 500. So let me see what happens here. Okay, now let me reduce the size of my. Okay, so there's a scroll. Good. So you see, this is let's see. So you see, this is absolutely positioned. So when we scroll, it scrolls with the scroll. Well, what if we now put, okay, instead of absolute, we now put it as fixed? What happened here? You see, it does not scroll, it's still there. It does not scroll. That is the difference between a fixed and absolute. Yes? Hello? Someone is saying something.
Hello, yeah. I quickly want, yes. You use Lorem 500.
Yes.
I want to guess that what you're saying is you want to repeat that 500 times.
I think, is it Lorem? Is it I don't know if it's an MX stuff, but
okay. My question is, that functionality, is it part of VS Code, or are you going to set it up yourself? The other time you use div times 3. Div
so
times 3,
MX.
and I gave you. So is it a VS Code setup, or is part of CSS too?
No, not Abba Bros now, CSS. Abba, no.
I'm just wondering.
So it's just the way, I think it's Emmet, it's an extension. Emmet.
Okay.
Yeah. So it just makes your development fast.
Okay.
So
it's an extension that can add to VS Code.
Yes, yes.
And what's the name, sir? I mean, the name of that extension, MS.
Yes, Emmet, I think. Emmet.
MS, okay. All right, thank you.
Good. So so you see what's the difference between a fixed and a absolute? It's the same thing, but then if there's a scroll, a fixed does not scroll, is there. But if there's no scroll, but an absolute, it scrolls with the absolute scrolls with the content. Okay, there's another I would like to try. I just read about that today, but I don't know how. I don't know if it works. I don't know. I didn't read. really well about that, but let's see what happens if I put, let's say I put another lorem here. So here I put lorem 100 here. I put lorem 100 there, and then so let me box 2. So the position is called sticky. It's a new type of positioning. So it's a new type of positioning. So I say box 2. I say position sticky. Then let me say top 10 different pixels, top pixels. And let's see what happens. So let me change the color to background color. Let me change this to green. And let's see what happens. Good. Okay, so I have the box green here. So what happens? You see what happens? Whoa, this is cool. So it's sticky. It's sticky to the top of the of where you set it to. It's sticky away from the top of the browser where you set it to. So this can be used. So if I notice there's some time that if you notice on website that there'll be no that there'll be a navbar. When you now scroll, the navbar will now just stay there and others will now be scrolling. So I think this is what you can use it for. Let me see what if I set this thing to top, let's say I want to move 100 pixels away from the top. What happens? So you see that it starts moving away from it starts being away from the document, but 100 pixels away from the top. So this is really cool. There are many things you can. I can't imagine what you can do with this. It's really cool. So sticky positioning. This is what's called sticky positioning. So any question?
I think, are we dealing with sticky positioning or fixed positioning? Are they the same?
Sticky. So we are doing, so there's sticky, there's fixed, there's absolute. So you see sticky position is when it's not near the top of the viewport. When it's not the top of it's positioned as in statically, but then its position is a mixture between fixed and static. It positions fixed when it hits this top of 100 pixels. You understand? Hello?
Yeah, hello, please, can you come again? I didn't get that.
Okay, good. So sticky is a mixture between fixed and static. So static is your normal positioning, while fixed is a positioning where an element is positioned, and no matter, and despite the scroll, if there's a scroll, it still remains there. So example, if I put this position as fixed here, I put that 6 there. No matter how I scroll, it is still there. So that is fixed. So sticky is just combine static and fixed. Okay. Static in the sense that it should be normally on the page where it's supposed to be, but then when it hits that top or bottom or top bottom row cells, it becomes fixed. So if I put it as static here, so because it has not hit the top 100, it is not yet 100 away from the top, it is static. But when it now becomes 100 pixels away from the top, it becomes fixed. What happened? Sorry, sticky. So because it's not 100 pixels away from the top, it is static. But when it now comes 100 pixels away from the top, it becomes fixed. So that's what we call sticky. So you see, it's fixed because it's 100 pixels away from the viewport. But when we now move, and then it now becomes, it's now no longer 100 pixels away from the top. It becomes sticky. It becomes static. So that is it. So sticky is a combination between fixed and your normal static.
All right, it's clear. Thanks.
Good. So, good responsive design. Okay. So I think my time is up, and I can't go any further because I'm also at work here. But I will drop this slide, and you can also I also gave you like resources to where I got all this that you can really learn from. I will recommend in short, all of them. You can really learn from them, especially this second one. This second one here. This is CSS from top down. So you can also reach me. I didn't add that. So let me add that. So you can reach me at here at everywhere. I am so you can reach me here at everywhere except Facebook. So on LinkedIn, I am Justice Otuya. So this is the name, very unique name. So if you have any questions, concerns, opportunity, gift, anything, you can contact me here. I'm just actually on Twitter. Someone is sending a message in chat. Okay, yes, my slides. Yeah, I've sent it to Sten, and you can get my slide from Sten. And so before I stop here, I would like to just ask some questions so that I know that you guys like really understand it. First of all, can anyone tell me the difference between a margin and a padding? Hello, are you guys here? Can anyone tell me the difference between a margin and a padding?
Yeah, from what is on the screen now, a margin is like the contact here. A padding is the space between this text and the border.
Okay, please come again. You said?
What is on the screen here now?
Okay.
A margin is like the contact here. Why the padding is a space between the text and the border.
Oh, good. Okay. Now, okay, good. This is a good way to explain it. Can anyone see this chart and these two windows? Like, can you see these things like this?
Yes.
This good. So to explain what a margin and a padding is, I can use this. So this is how things are positioned in a website. Good. So you see this space between this one and this one. This space here is the margin. Now, this line here, this line that covers the content inside is the border. Now, if you see my fine face, my fine picture, the space between my fine picture and this line, you see there's a space between here to here is the padding. So let me use example again. You as a landlord, you have a land, you build a house. The house is your content. The space between the house and your fence is the padding. Your fence is the border. Now, the space, the walkway, the space between your fence and the next landlord fence is the margin. So the space between two elements is the margin. Do you guys understand?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
So any questions, please?
Sorry, I want you to, I don't know if it's possible. I want you to talk about setting your width, your height, in relation to screen sizes. You
Okay,
understand?
good. So
I want to understand which one is
something
better. Which one is better to use? Is it better to use VH and VW, or better to use REM or EM?
oh, yeah.
okay, so I think REM and EM are relative to font sizes. I think they are really mostly to font size, but for screen, for responsiveness, please use view height and
VH.
view width and view height. Yes, it's because
Oh.
it's really it uses the screen. So any screen that it hits, it uses the screen real estate
Okay, so
yeah.
so for instance, I've declared my VH and VW as maybe like 100 VH, 100 VW. Now I
Yeah.
have VH, I have my VH. Now I'm trying to position element inside that VH. It's good to use percentage rather than using pixels, right? Except maybe I'm using like, is it advisable to use percentage, because these things might be open on another screen, either a smaller screen or a bigger screen.
Okay, is it okay to use percentage to do what?
To align to place content inside to set content inside that the view either the VH or the view VW.
Okay, I really cannot get your question.
Okay, so
But
I've set my VH, I've set my VW, right? Now I'm trying to position, let's say, some divs, some elements in between.
Okay.
Now I have a div. I'm trying to set the div. Maybe I'm trying to set the div to maybe like, instead of setting it to 200 pixel, is it better to either use percentage to set it so that it will be relative to any screen that is viewing it?
Okay. Okay. Yes. It depends. Yeah, you can use percentage, but then if you think about it, a 20% content on a screen is different from a 20% content on a laptop, is different from a 20% content on a phone. Okay, now let me give you an example. Let me give you, let's use our listen. So you see what I'm saying? Okay, so let's see, everything here. So the CSS, I'm saying, okay, let me put a div here. Div, let me see, div dot container, add a div dot item. Good. So now I say so I come here and say, okay, container have a height of 100 VH, a width of 100 VW, and then a background color, excuse me, of, let's say, red. Good. So I feel like this red. Let's see, where is that? Good. Okay, so can you see this thing I'm talking about? You see this thing I'm talking about, this space is because I did not insert a box sizing. That's why you have this rubbish. So if I go here, okay, it's there. Let me see. Box. Oh, okay. Body automatically has a margin of 0 pixels. Okay, that's why. Okay. So the elements that have from the scratch, they already have like the margin and the padding. You just need for you to remove it. Especially padding, the P tag. You notice that if you drag a key tag, it has automatic margin at the bottom. So that's how
So
this body is.
body has automatic padding margin of 8 pixels.
Yes, body, yes. So that is automatically. It has a margin of 8 pixels. So automatically. So what we'll do is we just go and set body. Please, we don't want any margin. Or we don't want any padding. Just give us 100 times 100. So good. So it's now 100 page by 100 page. Now my content is this. So I want to show you the content. So let's see. So I say dot item. Let's say height is equals to, let me just use 400 pixels first. Then the width is equals to, let's say, 20%. Okay, I look background color. Jerry, please, can you mute yourself?
It's okay.
Background color, let me put green. Good. So good. So this is 20 pixels. This is 20% of a computer screen, right? Good. Now this is 20% of Samsung Galaxy S5. Is that what you want? Obviously, that's not what you want.
You can see the positioning is not different. It has altered it. As long as the screen is changing, it's altering.
Good. That is why. So this is how I do my this is how I do my responsive. Let's say I want to code something responsive that I want it to. I want to code something responsive. So now what I do is I give it a width. I give that stuff. If it's in mobile, I give it a width of, okay, let's say, okay, I give it a width of, so item, I say, okay, see, bros, have a width of, get a width of 80%. So, because I want it to be 80% of the screen, but I want you to have a maximum width of, let's say, 500 pixels. So what this thing does is, since there's a maximum of 500 pixels, any screen that is below 500 pixels, it gives it a width of 80%. Every screen that is 500 pixels or below, it gives it 500 pixels. So watch this. Maybe my next class, I want to take you guys responsiveness. So, so you see here is 80% of this screen. If I continue moving, it's 80% is moving, is also opening with the screen. Now, if you see here, when it becomes 500, it stops increasing. So it stops 500 pixels. So the thing is this: you should a part of my responsiveness class. They want to call you know of media query. I know you guys know of media query. So you have to think, okay, how will this element display on a mobile phone? So you are advised that when you are coding, first create it for a mobile phone. Coding for mobile is easy. It follows the strict layout. So just code for mobile phone first, and then when you're expanding it, so there's this notion that, okay, that to do a responsiveness, there's a breakpoint I must hit. Okay, I must hit 950. Okay, even Chrome has done that. Even Chrome, there's a breakpoint here. Mobile is 320. Mobile M is 375. This is 425. Mobile L. This one is tablet 768. This one is. But then the thing is, devices are more than many devices with different screens are coming. These sizes was when devices were few. That these were the sizes. But now there are many devices that are now present. So how do you code responsive so that it will look good in every device you look for? So now what I recommend is don't code for device screen, code for content. Don't code for device screen, code for content. Okay, let me just show you something. So let us say, okay, the container here. So let's say I have lorem. Let me put lorem 500. Lorem 500, and then let me make this 100%. 100%. Matching 20 pixels. Okay, no, not margin, tag, sorry. Because I want space inside of me. Good. So let me see now. Just text align. Let me say justify. Good. So you see this text. Let me see that you see it's the color. So if you see this text, goes to. So you see this text, it looks good here. It looks good here, but by the time you start scrolling, it still looks good. It still looks good. You look at the content, you now see you see it has a maximum width of 500 pixels. So at what time does the text looks too stressed or looks too does not look good? I want that the content not look good. That is when you put your breakpoint. You should not code that. Okay, you should not code a media query at media. Okay, 1024 at media because that's what is here. You shouldn't do that because if you do that, it will not hit some devices. It will not hit some devices. So how you code it? Finish coding a mobile view, then start increasing. When you increase to the point that it does not look right, put your breakpoints there, put your media query there, and then arrange it very well, and then next thing, start increasing. See, when it looks bad again, you put your media query. Now, because you are doing the media query for the content and not for the device, it now looks good in every device because the content is what you do the media query for, but not the device. So I think I will try to also schedule a class so that we'll talk about responsiveness and we'll do a coding session. My time is up.
Thank you. But one
I'll
quick
be
question.
highly appreciated.
One quick question. Which one do you mostly use in terms of layouts? Flexbox or the other one? What's it called? Grid. Yes. Which one and why?
See, Flexbox and grid are meant to go hand in hand. It's not, grid is two-dimensional. Flexbox, they are meant to go hand in hand. I don't know, but you can. But the way that grid has more use case than Flexbox, but Flexbox is sweet, but they go hand in hand. I use them like hand in hand. I can have a grid, and then when I have a grid, I grid everything. Inside that grid, I can use the Flexbox to do something. So it's very interesting when it goes hand in hand. It's not something that you choose one or the other. You use them based on what you want. You cannot say you want let's say three horizontal boxes, and that's what you want, three horizontal boxes, and then you want to start using grid. It's super kill. Just use flex and flex everything, and so you use them according to when it's needed.
All right, cool. Thank you so much.
You can, it's good, and it's very cheap now. Where you now use them like interchangeably. Use grid for layout, and then use flexboard for the inside stuff and the rest. Interesting.
Yeah, makes sense.
Any other question? Any question? So it's safe to say I'm not a bad teacher. I've been training today, but at least it has come and it has passed, and I hope I've been able to impact knowledge to you guys. And maybe I will try to see if I can come to class and you guys, because they're all learning, and because even here now, from this what I'm seeing now, learned some things. I've been afraid. The truth is, that checkbox, I've been afraid to do it myself. And with this class, I've been able to do it, and it worked.
Nice.
Good. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And so you can follow me on Twitter, and we can talk from there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Bossman. Thank you.